my signal's a little rough.
Yeah, that's okay. You're sacrificing bandwidth at work to be the awesome person you are and hang out with us. So I'm thankful for that.
I don't know. Everything's blocked at my work, so I'm on cellular right now. It's pretty.
Nice. Screw those guys.
You look all pixelated right now.
That's awesome. IR robot. All right. Well, looks like some people will be bouncing in and out. It's 311, one of my favorite bands. So I think it's a good time to start. So um, I won't be. David, are we recording?
We are, sir.
Okay, sweet. So I won't be repeating myself. If we get double the members in here, than we have right now, I'm happy to do kind of a run through. But we want to be mindful of everybody that is likely at work or maybe going to or from work, and not drag this out. So what we're gonna do is kind of run through, tell you some really awesome updates, some really exciting news we get to share, and then at the end open it up for questions, comments, curiosity, so on and so forth. So I will go ahead and get things going. I'll be doing most of the talking. We're gonna have Matt hop in, talk about a couple of things too, if he's got the bandwidth, and then ultimately David on more of the technical side. So for those of you listening in that have been a part of our project in Ember, there may be people in the room that that may have been new to the community or maybe don't hold Ember token. But I can kind of share a quick story, just kind of a quick rundown of sort of where we started and where we are right now. We had a really explosive launch, unmarketed, word of mouth, and think about launching a project in the space is that famous utility word, right? And utility is subjective, but it's also important. And as we grew, we started developing utilities mainly based on our creativity and our consulting background and things like that, but nothing really pertaining to the token itself. And we hit a point where we skyrocketed. People were really bought in to obviously our commitment to bring goodness into the space, which we stayed true to. We'll continue to stay true to. But we had a giant spike we really didn't want. We didn't want parabolic growth. We didn't want a vertical green candle just to go nuts like that, because people obviously just get dollar signs in their eyes. But it came back down to earth. Shortly, about 2.5 months after we launched, and we've been resting really nicely through this crypto winter at around 11 to 12x from our pre-sale launch price. And some of you again may have gotten in at pre-sale. I would imagine a lot of you listening in did. We had a decent pre-sale community, but some of you may got in afterwards and are kind of wondering like when's the next big pump and so on and so forth. As we grew Ember and as we scaled a lot, and as we continue to scale, a lot of that is really driven by advisory. We know our strengths, Matt and I and the rest of the team, but a lot of it's driven by advisory, and we've had a lot of discussions on what the conditions of the market look like. We've been through a really rough crypto winter, etc. And David and I kind of had some early conversations in passing about what it would look like as we grow, and on the token side, and we determined with all the efforts we're putting into the Blockstar ecosystem, and realizing that David is on the brink of launching a really amazing product. I'll let him speak to that, but being able and other exchanges basically as well that we're going to be willing to list our token and work with our tokenomics. It just kind of put that fear in me a little bit of like, okay, we get this next big pump and right up, and we get people in that are new or maybe that have been patient through the crypto winter, and you ride this wave, right? And that's just a part of crypto. Some of you love and some of you hate, depending on when you got into a project. So I won't dilly dally on the point here. I'm here to tell you some really awesome news, and that is Ember as a company is going to continue to grow exponentially. We have direct alignment with Blockstar, which is David Hunter's company. He's our contract developer and one of our top advisors. But the big news is that we've hit a point to maintain stability through this winter, and I want to take that as an opportunity after an offer that we essentially received to migrate everybody into David's project. So what does that mean? It means Ember token will be going away. You're going to have opportunity and flexibility, which we'll go through here in a bit, to see what's going to be the best fit for you. All Ember token holders will be converting to Blockstar BST token. Why does that matter to you? I'd love to let David explain that in a minute. Why does it? What does it mean for us? To me, being in the space, and I think Matt and I've had a lot of discussions about this as well, and along with David. We can't always do what's in the best interest of just the business, right? Because we're here to do what's in the best interest of our investors and the people that stood behind us, and will continue to stand behind us. And when you hear the pivot that we're making, this isn't a folding our cards. This isn't, just taking the easy path. I actually pushed back multiple times with David because I wanted to keep fighting for this, right? But everything from our recovery efforts and things like that are just going to take time, and the growth from that, the generosity we're trying to put out to the community for the Coyote folks and so on and so forth is really all driven by market conditions and things we can't control. Outside of agency contributions, it takes a while to build a brand in the space and get trust with other clients. We just know that the token and the tokenomics and the tax structure we are reliant upon for marketing dollars and things like that. This new pivot's going to allow all of you guys and all Ember token holders to migrate into Blockstar, which is a much larger ecosystem with a ton of utility that we can't even share. So not all of it, at least. So I'm going to let David speak to that and what this means for you guys, and then we can kind of go through the options that you're going to have. I'll hit those really, really quickly and let David speak. Option one, you can take all or some of your Ember token and convert it to Blockstar, a BST token. If you want to go look at their chart versus Ember's chart, it's not a comparison. And they have the utility. David and his team they have the utility to back that up, right? They have the funding to back it up. Really, with Ember, because we're so new in the space, we have the sweat of our brow. We have our community, and we have potential loan opportunities. But that I can't, in good faith, walk away from a better opportunity for all of you on the token side. We have some amazing updates to give you about the NFT side, which I know a lot of you are investors in and holders of. I'm like geeked out to tell you what we're doing, and I think a lot of you are going to be really, really excited. And if you don't know much about the NFT space, we're going to explain it to you today. So with that said, option two is going to be able to convert your Ember token into an NFT, okay, or a series of NFTs, depending on how much you get. And those NFTs will grant you access into into a BST staking pool reward. So it's up to a 15% APY. So for those of you who want to kind of play it safer, it would basically grant you access into that reward pool, which is again up to 15% APY staking on BST token. And there's limited spots available. There's 150 shares available of that at varying amounts. So David can speak to that and what that looks like. And then really the third option is if you want to sell, you can sell. Just understand there will be price impact. And we're going to minimize that. David's been very creative on how we're going to do that and leverage his expertise to minimize the price impact. So if you guys want to cheat out of the project, we highly, highly don't recommend it. And you're about to hear why from David. But that's your third option. You can convert to Blockstar token, you can convert it to an NFT, or you can leave the project, which we definitely don't want you to do for your benefit, not necessarily ours. So with that said, I'll let David speak to the kind of technical side and maybe give a quick overview of Blockstar for some of you that may not know what it is and the utility that he's been building for over 4 years that drives this economy. I'd love to have him speak about that. So David, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, thanks, JR. So I see a lot of familiar faces in here. Most of you guys know me. My name is David Hunter. I'm the founder and creator behind Blockstar, the first decentralized social media platform built on blockchain. Not only just from the social media side of things. If you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, I encourage you guys to do so. That's over at blockstar.site. That is the landing page for our entire ecosystem. We launched back in May of 24th of this past year here. Most of you guys know that I've been building out Blockstar from the ground up over 4 years now. And ever since we have launched on that May 24th, we have turned out more utility in this space than any other project in the crypto space. That's from our social media platform, our complete live TV platform, our digital platform, which is music and digital content, along with a full NFT marketplace. Also, the staking pools, and that's NFT staking, that's regular staking pools as well. We're looking at doing some farming. And then also we have our full launch pad. As you guys remember, that is how Ember launch was, through our launch pad. And we will continue to roll things out. Some of the new things coming in that I know most of you guys have been biting at the bit to hear about, and you've heard some sneak peeks and probably seen some images and stuff. But that is our hex. We are building out the first, not public or private ledger, but a public ledger. It's called a hex, and that is the Blockstar centralized hybrid exchange, which is also decentralized, along with our wallets, and that'll be rolling out this quarter. So you guys are coming in at a great time before all that goes into a marketing effect. Obviously, it didn't take long to go through and look at our chart and everything and see where we started at and where we're at now. And there's a reason that we have a marketable chart going into rolling these things out. A lot of you guys also know about the Blockstar world, the AR/VR side of things. Some of you guys have been privy to be able to go in and check that stuff out as well. There's a lot of crazy things happening. We do have our own blockchain that is currently set on private, but we'll also be going public. We're hoping to get that rolled out this quarter. If not, it'll be the first part of this next quarter for the chain itself. And then you'll be able to, if you're a developer and you're in here and you're looking for more information on that, I do encourage you to get a hold of me, because we will be starting to let developers start now so that they're ready to go when we do that. Also, that our hex, if any of you guys are curious or want to sign up for the beta testing side of things, that is going to be rolling out very, very soon. I'm looking at probably next Friday into next Monday, possibly letting you guys go in and start testing that stuff out, and then we'll release that publicly within 30 days after we get through our beta testing phase. So tons of utility behind Blockstar. And again, I've been with Ember since the very beginning and everything. As most of you guys know, I wrote the contract for that. Had a hell of a launch. I'll just say it just like that. It was a hell of a launch. It's something that I can look back and tell you, after all of these years in space, I've only seen it a handful of times, right? And I literally mean a handful, especially in the market conditions that we're in, that just did very, very well, right? And it's a great accomplishment, and I commend them for it. But at the end of the day, we have to look at a long-term strategic play here, and not just for the investors, but also for Ember as a whole, right? So that's the investors, that's the people behind Ember, that would be JR, Matt, and its whole group of advisors. And it really comes down to this, right? So we understand that Ember as a company, again, JR said it, it's based off of the sweat of the brow, because all of the tokenomics and all that stuff that feed into the chart and everything is really based on what the agency work was doing. There's no actual utility. Some of you guys would call staking utility. That's not one of the things that I would call utility. Just from the token side alone. Now, this has nothing to do with NFTs, right? So at the end of the day, you get capped on the amount of work and agency work that you can produce in a 24-hour period of time, unless you guys are expecting JR, Matt, and all those guys to work countless hours around the clock and everything just to support a token. And I say all that to say that the NFT side of things and the Ember agency can live without the token, but the token can't live without the agency, right? So how do we fix that, right? So the best way to do that is to take and migrate, especially at this point, while the market is still before it's turned around completely. As you guys know, I'm bullish on the market. I think we've already hit our lows and everything, but I really do feel like this is the tipping point. This is a great opportunity for us we're already sharing resources between our moderators and obviously you guys know that JR, Matt, and those guys have done a lot of creative work for Blockstar, and even some of the advisors and stuff as well are kind of commingled throughout Blockstar, and again with the moderators and even the community. So now we're splitting resources between two projects. Well, how do we eliminate that and get everybody focused on one vision, one goal moving forward? And the best way to do that is to look at, okay, well, where's the bigger ecosystem? What is the most upside for the investor, right? What is the biggest upside for the company, and how do we progress this and move forward? And the best way to do that is to take away the Ember token and let the agency live on its own with the NFT side of things and move everybody into Blockstar, right? And obviously, like I said, I encourage you guys to go check out Blockstar as a whole as well, and all those utilities. And you are very, very early to this game. Again, I started building this over 4 years ago. The only reason the token went live is because I literally had to have it live just to be able to finish the development and get those things live and rolled out. And as JR is showing here, you can see the Blackstar ecosystem, and we have no intention of slowing down now. We're actually working on year 2 and 3 of the rollout and everything beyond these utilities as well. Some of the things you guys know, you get paid for being social. So we can go into all this later in detail and everything about the Blockstar ecosystem. I've done literally hundreds of AMAs. I've had tons of conversation, and we'll probably do several more. As you guys know, there's an announcement channel here on Blockstar, or on Telegram, I'm sorry. But we do all of our stuff over on the Blockstar and in the Blockstar ecosystem. But again, a lot of the current investors are already commingled. You're bought into both of them anyway. I know a lot of you guys have been asking to pick up more BST as well, and I've told you guys stay away from my chart and don't buy any because we wanted to make sure we was in a good position as our exchange rolled out to have that great marketable chart, and we are well positioned to do that. So with all that said, JR kind of hit on some of the different ways that you would be able to migrate into Blockstar. Here's how that's going to work. So I know a lot of you guys will say, well, I would just like to sell my tokens and I would like to be able to do what I want to with it. I'll start off with kind of that aspect of it, right? So if that's the case, right, we're going to allow a way for you guys to exit out of the project and exit out ethically and safely that doesn't hurt everybody else, because it wouldn't be fair to let you just come out and just dump right on top of the project and then everybody else gets left holding the bag and then migrate, right? So we got to keep it fair for everybody, unless you would like for me to let everybody dump first and then you be the last one to exit out, right? And that's not fair to you either. So the way that we've done it, we're going to split the L people, right? So there is a landing page that was created, and it will go live on Monday. The first option is going to be you'll be able to convert and buy a common NFT, which will cost you 1 million tokens of Ember token. You can buy a uncommon, which will cost you 5 million tokens. There will also be a rare NFT that is going to cost you, is that 10 million tokens? Is that correct, JR? And then we're going into the epic, which will be 25 million tokens. And then you can get one of the legendaries, and that will be 50 million tokens, if I'm not mistaken. And those come with its own reward pool. The way that's going to be set up is Ember as a company is purchasing a node to put in that reward pool. As JR mentioned, there are only going to be 150 spots for that. And that will be based off of the APY, because let me backtrack here. The node that I'm referring to is going to be for the NFTs, for the level 3 NFTs that all you guys have purchased. And then going forward, there's only going to be 150 of those. But for the Ember ones that you're purchasing directly on there with your Ember on that platform, will be for the reward pool. There was 100,000 BST tokens that were bought and paid for and put up into a reward pool that will never be sold. So if you're worried about it being dumped back down the chart, but the APY from that will be, Blockstar will have first option of purchase, and then that can be paid out a different way. But the APY will either be sold and then it will be dispersed between everybody that holds those NFTs. So there's not an unlimited supply of those. It is one supply. It'll only be 150 spots that are shares that will be into that. Okay. So, and that is a lifetime reward, because again, the base amount will always stay in there. It's the APY that is dispersed annually, right? So if you guys already have some BST token, then you're looking for another way to have an allocation in the Blockstar without just having the token, this is a great way for you guys to do that. It does support Ember Agency, but then it also does support the Blockstar ecosystem as well. And it's again, lifetime rewards. It's not just from holding tokens and all that stuff, because it is an NFT that you hold, and those rewards will be dispersed. Even though the APY is on an annual basis, we are going to give a few different options on how you can either get monthly, quarterly, every 6 months, or yearly payments based off of that as well. So back on the note of the level 3 NFTs that you guys hold now, if you have had custom NFTs that are level 3 NFTs, those are a node worth purchased by Ember. And that reward pool, as the revenue for Blockstar, it goes back to its node holders, its user base, and obviously as Blockstar as a company, we do take a percentage of that as well to continue to develop and to run Blockstar. But those nodes do produce, and they do produce a nice little revenue stream that is a lifetime reward. So everybody that is in that level 3 NFT reward pool, and there are some of those left out there. They just won 50 or 60 of those that have been sold, JR. And those will continue to sell to 150, and once they are sold out, there will never be any more, and the revenue will only increase. I'll give you guys just one simple example. From back in May 24th, when we let the token go live all the way through, I'm sorry, when I first went live with the V1 contract for the social media platform before we merged and migrated over to the V2 social platform. If I would have had just Google Ads, and obviously you guys know the Google Ads is a revenue split between Google, just on that alone, we would have done over $786,000 in revenue. Now that would have been from the advertisers, so those would have been 80% of that would have went into a direct buy order on the contract for BST token, and those tokens would have went into an advertising pools, and everybody that was direct targeted from those ads would have got a share of that revenue, right? But also you get rewarded off of your points, with points too, that you can then exchange for the Blockstar token directly as well. So you're already over on Facebook, Twitter, and all these other social platforms, and you're liking, you're sharing, subscribing, commenting. Well, now you get rewarded for doing those exact same things. We don't take any of your information, just start handing that stuff over to the advertisers. What an advertiser does, I'll give you an example. Coca-Cola comes to me and says, "Hey, David, we want to advertise to all the women in the state of Texas are between the age of 20 and 50, right?" And so everybody that fits that criteria and you're opted into seeing the ads, is what will happen is at the end of that campaign, and let's say it's a $100,000 advertising campaign, 80% of that, so in this case $80,000 would go as a direct buy order, buy the BST token, go into advertising pool. When they if it's a 30-day campaign, when that ends, that would go directly out to everybody that fit that demographics, and it would be split. They could also break it down by country. So we don't give out information. All your information is on blockchain. It's private. It's all done through private keys and public keys. So again, we're not here to take and sell your information to the highest bidder, right? With the Blockstar ecosystem, you are not the product. You are the customer base and the consumer of our platform, not the product. Like unlike most of the platforms out there. So that's just one. But also we have the utilities from all of our other utilities, like our Launchpad, our incubation, our KYC services, our auditing services, and everything that we add into the platform, and also come along with our exchange and our hex and everything. All of those trading fees, and then all obviously you guys are familiar with paying with BNB and ETH on their respective chains. Blockstar token is the native currency for the entire ecosystem, and that BST token will also be used to pay the gas fees. But keep in mind, we're still very, very early. When that chain goes live, I already have several projects that are already looking to come on their exchange that have been pre-vetted by myself and others, but then also coming directly to the chain itself. Sorry, the first one was for the exchange, but on the chain itself. And all of those tokens will be pairing with the Blockstar token, just like you're familiar with on Binance Smart Chain. They would be pairing with BNB or a stable coin. In this case, they would pairing with BST. So to be able to do that, they have to acquire the BST token, and you can just imagine what that does for our chart overall, right? Because there is a finite supply. There is only 100 million Blockstar tokens that will ever be minted. 60% of that entire supply will be put over on the exchange and will be backed by my entire portfolio. We will be releasing the debit cards as well. You'll have to stake USDC or Blockstar token. There was $1 million bond that was put up through Bancorp to be able to offer that. We will start out with a beta test of about 100 people, and then as soon as that is beta testing and all incorporated for the on-ramp, off-ramp, then we will open that live to everybody that is part of our exchange. But you will have to KYC for that part of it. If you say, "Hey, David, I don't want to KYC, but I still want to be able to use an exchange to trade tokens," we got you covered, because we do have the Blockstar wallets. They are not they are self-custody wallets. They are a Web3 wallet. You'll be able to use those on other platforms as well, but you'll be able to connect your wallet Web3, and then you will be able to do the same trading that anybody else that was using an exchange. You just won't be able to use our on-ramp and off-ramp services, okay? But to get back to track to the Ember side of things, the other way that you will be able to do this, with your Ember now currently, there will be an option if you want to switch right over to the BST token, then we will switch you and convert you over to BST. The other option, like JR mentioned, would be to exit the project. Now, here's how those liquidity pools split, right? Because again, it's not fair to just let a few people out and then it just tanks the whole entire price. We will pull the liquidity, and what will happen if 20% of the people want out? Well, 20% of the liquidity pool will go to that pool, and everybody will sell against that pool at one time. It will be one sell. That way, everybody gets out based on weight of the tokens that they have into that pool. If 80% are going into the Blockstar token or into the NFT pool, that means 80% of that LP will be put in, and you will get a higher valuation going into the BST token. That is the fairest way to do it. Now, if 50% of the people decide they want to exit, then 50% of the LP pool will go over to that, and it will be split based on the weight, and then everybody will get out at the same evaluation. There will be no price impact at that point. It would be literally based on the weight of the tokens that you have into that pool. So I do encourage you guys to go and check out the Blockstar ecosystem. I'm gonna let JR talk some more about his NFTs because there's some cool things coming up, and I think this is really gonna hit home to where Ember is going to thrive as a company, because that's really where their talents lies, in the consulting, the creative work with the NFTs, and doing front end stuff. I think that's really where they're going to thrive, and I'm looking forward to see where Ember can go in these next levels. Again, there's going to be another VC after this. We'll probably do this sometime next week, right? And we can go through the entire Blockstar ecosystem again. Again, if you want something today, there's literally hundreds of AMA and podcasts out there about Blockstar. If not, you can check out our current podcast that we do every Tuesday at 8 p.m. UTC time, and that is put onto the Blockstar.tv platform. I encourage you guys to go check out all those videos as well. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, JR. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of questions come up in the end here, and I'm happy to answer those as well.
Awesome. Well, as you guys can see, I know my strengths, right? I know Matt knows his strengths. The rest of our team, they own their strengths, but everything that was just talked about is years. I mean, a decade and a half, if potentially not even more, of experience, right? That's experience speaking. And getting into a space like this, starting a token, is not for the faint of heart. I mean, a lot of projects start and fail. And David could probably give a ratio of what that looks like. So I'm very proud of what we've done. To every business, I said this the other day in advisory meeting. It's like every business strives to attract the attention of their audience and of bigger businesses, right? In the grand scheme of things, you want the big guys like, who is that? And we need to pay attention to them, right? I can look back and know that we had a very successful launch. We've had a very mature, stable pool of holders and supporters of our project that were even contributing, during the red market, and just to show the support and they believe in everything we're looking to do. We raised 190 BNB in our first few months of launch, and we're giving it away. And that's when it started to hit me. It's like I watched a lot of things transpire. I watched the behavior patterns of investors and big holders versus little holders. We looked at and analyzed, what the market was looking like in the next year. And to be frank, they're one of the biggest reasons that this really hit home with me. And I went back to David and said, look, let's talk. Let's talk. I want to do what's in the best interest of my investors, our investors, excuse me, is because David was willing to front the liquidity for us to go on his exchange. Now, he may not want me sharing that, but that is an amazing gift, and it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money to be able to do that. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was just gonna note on that and everything. You guys have seen a ton of projects out there and everything. They fall victim to having to raise funds through VC capital and all that, and then all of a sudden you just see their charts tank and everything. I was willing to put my money where my mouth is, and I didn't ask for one single dime building out Blockstar until that token went live, and I was forced to let people come into the project. Right? We don't need to go out and seek funding from VC capital. This is truly a user base built ecosystem, right? So we never have to fall victim to having to give up tokens to go get out and get people to market, or VC firms that want a big discount and all that coming into it. This is just hardcore going to work and building out in the time that we needed to build it. And we're going to continue to grow this. And this is supposed to be the people's platform, right? We don't need to go out and ask for money. We didn't go out to raise money. I've been fortunate enough in life that I was able to pay for all these things and continue to pay for these things going forward. And one thing I committed to as Blockstar and as the founder of this, you will never see, I own 0 Blockstar tokens. I will never dump back onto this project, right? Blockstar is supposed to outlive me. This is my last project in the space. Most of you guys that know me know that I've been part of some really big projects that have my name or development all over it, right? Some of those are even in the top 100. If you guys are familiar with Gala, or sorry, not Gala, but Ethereum push notifications, charge particles. I always mention Gala all the time because I know all those guys over there. I've helped with a few of the things in Gala, but that is not one of my projects. But I'm a huge supporter of them, and they will be one of the projects that are on the exchange when it does go live. So just a reference there as well, maybe even a plug. But yeah, I say all that just to tell you guys, it's not to pat myself on the back. I've been, like I said, fortunate enough in life to be able to pay for all these things, and I never have to dump back on the platform or on our investors or our token holders because Blockstar was always designed to be able to bring in outside funds to fund everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions for that. So please make sure you're jotting those down. The big thing I want to point out is not even so much the leadership or the advisory or the friendship or the bond that David's built with Ember and with Matt and I. It was generosity to be able to front, a lot of money. I mean, well into the five figures for us to have a liquidity pool on his exchange. I in good faith, knowing we had a strong launch, but knowing all it's going to take is a handful of people to come in, whales to come in, backdraft or not, and look and say, hey, these guys know what they're doing. They got some good backing, whatever. Let's pump this thing up and dump. And we find ourselves back. I'm not going to do that on somebody else's dime or generosity. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And really, that hybrid exchange was going to be our first opportunity to list our token that would work with our tax structure, that would work with our tokenomics. So it was tough. And I even remember telling David, I said, I hate not being able to just get the token there yet. Like it's close to, it's almost there, as he mentioned, a couple months out, but the deal would be off the table because at that point, if the sky, sky's the limit and the token goes nuts again, he's paying a much higher price for those investors, right? It's not fair to him with the generosity and the leadership and advisory he's brought in to our project for all of your benefits. So it was a jump while we're up and just and do what's right by you guys. I just, again, could not in good faith run that risk, knowing that really our passion, yes, the token's important. Yes, it's a lot of what you guys have invested in, but in good faith, just really wanted to focus on what we're great at. And so I'll jump into, yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I just want to kind of drive that point home. I mean, you guys have seen what happens to tokens when they list on exchanges. They do very, very, very well, and then all of a sudden everything just dump, right? And it has nothing to do with the project per se, right? It's just the ecosystem that we live in, right? So
Right.
at the end of the day, the token side of things would have to really have feet to start running, right? Once it got on the exchange, it would really need those utilities to make it run up for that next level, right? And unfortunately, everything right now is just not there. Again, if you separate the token from everything else Ember does, Ember thrives, 100% thrives, and it's going to do very, very well. But to be able to maintain that growth and stability and everything, it was just a no-brainer. The token had to go away. And how do you reward those investors that have stuck around since day one and came into the Ember project? This is the way, right? It's to migrate everybody in. And again, those that do want to exit, you're welcome to exit. As he's showing you now, this is the social media platform. So for most of you guys, it's going to look familiar already. This is out of beta testing and is public now, and we're continuously upgrading it and making updates to it as well to make it better for you guys. But again, I just wanted to say that you guys know what these tokens do when they do go on to exchanges. Ember in that fact would be no different, right? Unless it had legs to really take off and run.
Yep, absolutely. So, and it's not that we don't believe in it. If David was a figment of my imagination, there's absolutely nobody else that you guys could trust more than Matt and I and our team to keep the pursuit and keep driving utility and change and growth and positivity in the space. So, but that only, again, we're limited to our time, we're limited to our bandwidth, right? As you guys can clearly see, there is way more utility behind this. So you migrating to BST token is going to be my top recommendation. That is not financial advice. This is me supporting somebody who supported us. This is Matt supporting somebody who supported us. This is our team really trying to drive a positive narrative. Look at that chart on my screen right now and see a big difference between that and Embers. That is what utility does. 100%. That is what utility does. with that said, because we covered a lot on Blockstar, I do want to jump, as David said, back to some of the Ember stuff, and I'm going to go and pull up our fresh white paper. All of this decision making has really been going on for about a month. We've had to keep it under wraps, and because the offer originally came from David, it kind of happened in a passive way. He was like, you realize one day, I'm probably going to acquire your token, right? And I was like, I figured that was coming at some point, and that was about a month and a half ago. And he was like, well, we'll see what that looks like maybe later next year. And this is not an acquisition, just so you guys understand. Not a legal business acquisition. This is a transition. This is a conversion of our token holders and our investors into something way, way bigger than I could ever dream of building on my own with our team. David, you had your hand up. I just want to see if you had something to say. Actually, yeah. Did you have your hand up? Maybe? No? Yes?
He said he'll be right back.
Oh, got it. Okay. Sorry. So thank you. So what I want to get to now is, what does this look like for all of you who came into the project because of me or because of Matt or any of our mod team or broader team that were like, you guys, this is a real company. Like, this is a real business. That is going to not just live on, it's going to explode. And I want to explain why. I looked at the fact that a lot of you have believed in our vision, you believe in the path that we're going after, and to determine, okay, what is the best way to guarantee opportunity in perpetuity, not based on seasonal changes in a market, not based on global, socioeconomic and world economic conditions, right? But something that's actually going to reward people for just investing into an NFT or into our project that is, again, paid in perpetuity. And that's where the conversation really picked up. David has nodes that obviously run his ecosystem, and they're very limited. But what he offered to do is allow Ember to buy not one, but 2 nodes. And the reason that's important for you guys to understand is that we're going to take all of the BNB that we have as a company. I realize a lot of that is in the recovery pool, and we're going to be very transparent about this. And I want to be abundantly clear on one thing. That recovery initiative, that recovery pool is 100% out of the generosity of our hearts. I'm not saying this to put a crown on me and Matt and our vision behind that. I'm saying this just as a reminder to all of you that we are giving that money away. We are not legally obligated to the Coyote community. We are not legally obligated to anything. As a completely separate project, we said we want to do right by people, and we're going to still continue to do that. But in order to do that and make those donations, make those contributions back to those fallen investors a lot more aggressive and get that done in a faster rate, we're taking all of the funds we have liquid in BNB in Ember, and we're investing in 2 nodes. They are not cheap, but they will pay out in perpetuity. As we said, one will fund our treasury, and we will take those. We will end up taking the profits from that and reinvesting those with a lot of advisory from David and his treasury management. Okay, we're going to kind of piggyback on what they're doing. Clearly, they have a good investment strategy. You can see on the chart. So it's getting in and realizing it's sometimes best to just listen, and we've done a great job of listening to our advisors and follow the leader, right? We lead in our own way, but this is an area that will allow explosive growth for Ember to build a really nice foundation, a really healthy foundation for the company, outside or in addition to, right, parallel to our agency revenue that's coming in fiat or coming in greenback dollars. The second node, and this is going to be really important. I'm going to pull this back up. Okay, go full screen here for a minute. That second node, because a lot of you have invested in these level 3 epic NFTs. This is our Blaze series. Okay, all of these are handmade by yours truly, and Matt is likely the one you guys are working. Well, not likely. Matt is the one that you're working with behind the scenes to make sure you get that. He mints them. He puts the time in to make sure that your purchase goes smoothly and that you obviously get the product you're investing in. These NFTs originally were, for those of you that are new to our NFT utility, our NFT structure, these have been part of 150 that I'm making. I'm never going to make any more of these. And originally were basically funded and fueled by a portion of each sale going back in, which was about 25%. It varied as we were growing, but I'm contributing 25% of each of the ones that I produce, whether it's part of a library that I came up with or whether it was through custom orders, back into that pool. On top of agency contributions. So 25% of our revenue, if we get a $1,500 or $5,000 branding job or whatever it is, or Matt goes and develops a custom e-commerce site for $10,000, we're taking $2,500 of that, and it's going back into the ecosystem. It wasn't necessarily just to that reward pool. It wasn't necessarily just in B&B either. We were constantly contributing Ember token and B&B back to those level 3 owners. But again, you're riding a wave, right? And I thought, in talking to David, it was like, how do we strengthen this? Like, I get that this is one small, and that's not even small, but really one vertical of the business, but it's one that means a lot to me because I've poured over 200 hours already in the design of these. And some of you have come to me and asked for custom orders, which we offer. And I was like, I want to do something great for these people. Like, this isn't just about having a custom piece of art that spoke to you. This isn't just about having contributions from an agency and contributions from buybacks and stuff going into this. How do we explode that? And we are taking that NFT we're buying, and it will go to feed all 150 shares or shareholders of that pool. Again, only 150 are made. There's about 52 or 53, I think, now that have been sold. While I am working on a library of these off of my own list, which was also fueled by my children, they had a lot of really great and creative ideas. I have to. This is the case in point why we're having this conversation today. I can only commit time when I'm not worried about, what's the chart doing? What's the investor behaviors like? What's the temperament out there? And trying to manage other people's, investment expectations, right? You can't do that. You just can't. And you burn a lot of time doing it. I don't regret the coin. Again, I 100% would keep pushing forward, but this will allow me to 100% focus my time into the creative utilities with Matt, with the rest of our team, broaden our team, and keep building out products and utilities that will fund you in perpetuity. Okay. That is my commitment. The collections aren't going to stop with this one. When I'm done with this next one, I'm going to do a whole new one, and it might not be the Ember. It's obviously not going to be the Ember logo. It's going to be something else. I'm also going to create a private Telegram group for all level 3 NFT holders, because I want to listen to you. I want your feedback. What's the next collection we could do? Let's look at, as the price of these grow based on, typical supply and demand, right? That's going to apply here. You will never get these level 3 NFTs, the ones that are available. You will never get them this cheap again. These camo ones that I've done, I'll take a break and let David speak. Go ahead, man.
I figured you might need to catch your breath. I just wanted to really hit home what you just said and everything. With that note and everything, eventually, JR is going to get arthritis in the next 40 years and won't be able to hand draw these anymore. And then you're never going to be able to get these NFTs again, right? Here's the kicker. That level 3 NFTs, because of the nodes, those are lifetime rewards, right? It's not based off of the agency work and all this stuff. It literally is a lifetime reward that is a legacy reward that you guys can pass down to your kids, your grandkids, and stuff like that as well. So the utility that is being implemented into these level 3 NFTs is a lifetime. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. And to me, as these go up in value, as you can see, this one's for B&B. The average range that I'm in with these is around 3. Even custom orders range from 3 to 5. Might seem like a lot of money, but at the same time, I mean, this one alone took me, I want to say, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours to draw, and that's just going to sit in inventory, right? And like, nobody's purchased it, totally fine. It's fronted time in hopes that somebody sees it and says, yeah, that's a super cool thing I want in my wallet, and it's going to pay me. That payment structure was the best we knew to do, right? It was the best thing we could do. Contribute time, which is, this is my income. This is how I feed my wife and kids, right? This is how I bring money into my family, is through a lot of the NFT development. So contributing 25% that back to the community was going to be really, really good. Everybody was very, grateful for that contribution. It was a good structure, but again, it's limited, and it's also going to fluctuate based on what's selling. In the end, these going forward, after the ones that we have available are sold out, which I will show you what is available. There are 6 left, I want to say. As you can see here, we got 3 camo. We got the Brainiac. 4 camo. So that was the original, and I did variations from these. And then there's a snowman one, but I may not be able to click and see that one unless somebody bought it. So we've got 6 left. After these 6 are sold, the base price of these are going to be for B&B. I'm going to end up releasing new NFTs in this pool 5 at a time. As the 5 Go, it's going to be at the same price no matter what time I put into them. They will all be incredibly detailed. Some will be photorealistic, which I can show you some examples of what I mean by that. Whereas others might be more abstract. Some people like that style a little bit better. As that goes up and as investors fill that pool, you are only sharing the rewards with those that actually hold them. Okay. So if there's 60 people in by the time we launch this and rewards are going out, you're only sharing those rewards with 60 people. It does get diluted up to 150, but there's a cap on that. It will never be more than those people or more than that number. So as I said, there's 6 available now. So if you're thinking about getting one, or you're thinking about a custom order, or you want one for your family, this will pay you for life. For life. I can't stress that enough. And the question is that even 3 B&B or 2 B&B, are you willing to spend a few $100s to know that you're making something every month for the rest of your life? And that investment pays for itself in its first 6 to 12 months on average. That's not going to last forever. And as we get closer and closer, I can assure you, when there's 10 left or 5 left, those are not going to be cheap. It will be a big investment for that holder at that point to get in based on this, and they're going to be exceptional. I mean, this, just to give you an idea, as far as detail goes, I will make sure that the last ones are not just, all right, I threw something together to finish this pool out. They will have 5, 10, 20 hours into illustration into these. You can see the detail I put into these. I take pride in them. I love them. It's a lot of fun. But when that pool's done, it's done. And as they go up in price, I'll talk with kind of our in-house committee, our treasury committee that we're going to build. I'm already in the process of doing that, and say, hey, maybe we can contribute some of this B&B, back into the pool, right? Or maybe we go and reinvest that. Let's put it in the treasury and invest it in some other projects, and we can have some other rewards go back in. So that way you're not thinking like, well, gosh, these are selling for 20 or 10 or 15 or 30 B&B or whatever they're going to be at when there's 5 or 10 left. And it's about being transparent. It's not just us shoving cash in our pockets, right? It's about reinvesting into our community. So that's something I'm super freaking pumped for, because it takes the pressure of us pushing sales and heavy marketing off, and starts to build demand funneling in for these things, as we hope. And we look forward to being able to get that node purchased. We are purchasing that on Monday, both of them, one for the treasury and one for the level 3 NFTs. David, if there's anything you want to add to that from the node perspective, I know you guys, again, please make sure you write your questions down. I do want to answer some of those, but I really want to go through the white paper, unless David has anything else he wants to add, or Matt, if you want to jump in and add anything as well.
I was just going to add one quick thing on the node side of the reason for that second node, and to be able to help build that treasury out and everything. It goes back to what JR was saying. They're donating some of those funds and everything to the recovery efforts and everything. So the recovery doesn't go away. But as you guys know, if you invest $100 into a treasury and you only got $100 to work with, and you're trying to build a large treasury to be able to give back and earn rewards off of that, it's a lot easier to build that off of 10,000, 100,000. When you're doing that type of investing, compared to just doing $100 at a time. It'll take forever to fund a recovery effort, right? So the whole reason for the treasury is to increase the amount of time, or decrease the amount of time it would take to be able to take care of the recovery, but also have that base amount in that treasury. Obviously, for most of you guys that know me or follow Blockstar, or even followed me as a trader and everything, my portfolio speaks for itself, and that's why I'm able to back the entire exchange of Blockstar with my own personal portfolio until it takes off. So again, this is a great way to be able to introduce something that is going to speed up the direction and the recovery efforts for those of you that were in the Coyote. And as JR mentioned, this is something they're doing as a way to get back, not because they're obligated, because they want to.
Absolutely. Thanks, David. Yeah. So recovery is still going to happen. It's just going to hopefully happen more aggressively. We lean into our advisors who have decades of trading and investing experience in the space. Obviously I'm speaking to David, and piggybacking off the Blockstar Treasury, as I've mentioned, is not a bad thing, right? You can clearly see what he's what he's been working on. And if any of you have ever started a business or worked for a company building a product or anything like that, 4 years is a lot of time to put into something. Whether you have the means or not, and you can afford to just keep pumping money in. It's a lot, just the mental focus you have to have, and the commitment you have to build something for that long. And then know that the release of a lot of that, granted, it's getting peppered out right now, like the Blockstar World and things like that. Obviously, the launch pad and NFTs that David has, which obviously this is all part of his network. You guys know that. But this is all coming to a head over the next. I mean, what would you say that the range of all the rest of the utility pouring out just this year? Is that safe to say, David?
So we've turned out a lot, obviously, from the Blockstar site.
Yeah.
You can see all the utilities turned out, even the other platforms within inside of our ecosystem. But we have so many more things coming out this year, and like I said, we're already building in year 2 right now for stuff that are coming out. So we have no desire to slow down. As most of you guys know, projects always overpromise, underdeliver, or they always promise to build something and then it just never goes anywhere. They don't have anything to deliver, right? Or they have no intent to deliver.
Right.
Blockstar is just the opposite of that. We had all of our base models all laid out before we ever went to market and never asked for one single investor to put a dime into it. And again, the reason we had to do to get our token live is so we could finish the development and get everything hooked up on the back end.
Right.
So again, I encourage you guys to go find another project that had this much utility rolled out. And again, we're getting the Hex rolled out this quarter. We're going to try to push to get the Blockstar World beta testing out by the end of this quarter, and then the public release in the next quarter. And the same thing with the public side of the chain, right? So you will be able to see all that, just like you guys are familiar with using Etherscan and BSC scan and, you know, all the other respective chains. We have that as well. The difference is that our Hex shows a public ledger instead of a private ledger, and you'll be able to see all of those trades and transactions right on blockchain.
Yeah. So really excited about hearing your questions. I hope we hear from a lot of you, but I am going to skim through the updated white paper real quickly.
I'm going to have you pause for 1 minute. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. I'm going to restart it because we're getting kind of long here.
Yeah,
just so we don't have any for easy editing. I'm going to pause real quick.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
You're ready to go, JR. As another thing you guys can see, this is our own technology as well. This Blockstar Meet that you're using, this is publicly available for anybody to use and is 100% free, just like all of our other utilities as well. It's all you, buddy.
It's awesome. I really urge you guys to go to blockstar.site and explore the ecosystem. It's really good. It's more utility, as David said, that's been brought to the space in this amount of time than anything else out there. With its own chain. I mean, it's hopefully you're seeing with all this why this conversion opportunity for you guys as Ember token holders. It's not that we don't believe in our coin. It's because in our token. It's because we know that we can get something greater for you out of this. That there's greater potential for growth. So we're going to talk a little bit about this in the white paper. I'm going to kind of skim through and show you the updated white paper. We'll have this published live on the website. We have a lot of marketing we got to get out this weekend. As well, email marketing out to those that are not actively involved in Telegram and so on and so forth. But I will post this in main chat shortly. So jumping through, we really just did an abstract. I had this in the last one. Wrote all this. Had a lot of help from Kelly, who's been my right hand gal with Ember. She's really helped a ton. David contributed to some of this as well, and kind of gave a story of how we started. So some of you that are new to the project or maybe missed the first half of the AMA, this would be a great opportunity for you to understand who Ember is, what we set out to do, and where we're going. I've got still some edits to make and so on and so forth. I haven't proofread the whole thing. Obviously, we wanted to move quickly since we did lock chat for trading to keep the price pretty stable. So I do have some edits to make, and I've been very thankful for the help from our team reviewing this before we push it out live. So I got to make those edits before I can do that. But going through, we really talk about the three pillars of Ember. It's our agency. It's our NFTs, which I just went through. And most of you know, as an agency, we offer digital services, advisory, branding, code, and design, anything in and outside of DeFi. Matt and I have a ton of experience. We have a much broader network, obviously, now through David and Blockstar team, et cetera, and are going to be obviously scaling that side of the business up as well. For those of you that don't also know, I did get an opportunity to become a department head at Blockstar. This was prior to this decision, and I'm blessed to be able to lead brand and consumer experience over there with David and the team, and it really is a 50-50 time split between Ember and Blockstar. Want to do everything I can to leverage my experience to better that community the best that I know how to. David's obviously done a great job on his own, but excited to tell you guys that as well. So moving on, obviously I went through the agency aspect. I went through the NFTs. We didn't get into level 2s and level 3s. This is really just an abstract. I'll go through that in detail as we scroll through. Embiverse is really going to be where we put a lot of time and utility in. Again, David's willing to front some time for us to build out the Web3 side of this, which is the future of websites, the future of the internet. Being able to leverage Embiverse, which is built off of Emby, our level 2 and level 1 NFT mascot. We want an environment that parents and kids can onboard to that's safe. There's a lot of trash content out there on TikTok and YouTube and everything else. And I know bringing up young ladies who will be teenagers in 4 months, which is crazy to think about, into this world, it's so hard to shield them from that. But what you can do is introduce things where they can learn and they can interact and they can educate and enlighten themselves on other opportunities and start saving money now. That's why Embiverse is all inclusive of our website, digital downloads, educational resources, and our actual physical Emby plush. Some of you guys may have seen this. Emby, we invested a lot of money into this utility as a first, I'd say the first crypto plush toy with utility. There's plenty of, you can go on Etsy or somewhere else and purchase, Bitcoin pillows and stuff like that. I'm sure I've seen some other plush toys out there, but we really have a lot of purpose behind Emby. So we'll get into that in a minute. Moving on down, this is our ethos. It's essentially none of that's changed. All I did is remove the aspects of the token out there. It's really just a power statement that we put out there for everybody to understand who we are inside and out. Our construct's updated. So, 3 elements of fire, obviously, themed with Ember. Our agency, as I went through advisory, branding, code design, we talked through the NFTs, and now we have talked through Embiverse, which will be a virtual playground for kids and parents. There should be various Web3 wallet options. Again, downloads, educational resources, and interactive games and puzzles. So it's all themed around learning DeFi in a way that a kid can understand and that a parent's going to be okay with, right? Bringing goodness to the space. Went through and kind of gave our bios, direct links to our Telegram for me and Matt. Went through on our advisory, when we don't have like an economic need now with that token gone. I mean, not to say a treasury doesn't require that, but I'm really leaning into the Blockstar treasury and how they're managing that. And I know David has a broad team that's going to be supporting him in that. So we do still have some advisory with this, but this is really our wheelhouse, and this is where I wanted to highlight, obviously, a partner spotlight with Blockstar because he has contributed a lot of time, efforts, and utility and money into Ember. So, this isn't about brown nosing. This is about finding people you really enjoy working with, and them seeing that reciprocated value and building that relationship. So we're proud to be able to say we can do that. This is our agency model. Most of you already know, which goes into more detail about the ABCDs of Ember. Now let's jump into NFTs. So we have three core levels, or really 4, I guess, through this transition now. But the Spark series are common NFTs. These are going to be the cheapest ones you can get. They are all based on Emby, the mascot. They are designed, obviously, everything you see visually is designed by myself or our team. These are randomized through a really kick butt generator that Matt made actually from the previous project, and we were able to revive that for Ember, and he did a killer job creating this awesome algorithm that randomizes all of the elements of these Emby colors. So I've got some details about that you can read on your own. The utility behind these originally, we're really going to go into a kind of a lottery, So yeah, you may invest $25 or $50 at current market rate, and may win that lottery, but you may not. And it was like a low investment, low opportunity thing, right? It wasn't good enough for this to be pushed. I wanted something stronger. So what this will ultimately align with is alignment with this. So as you buy Emby, which you can order on our website. It's a really fun Squishmallow. He's really cute. My kids are really obsessed with him and can't wait for our first order to show up in a few weeks. But when you buy this, we are going to be updating that experience where you will be able to, and I'll have David speak to this, be able to actually buy crypto with it or buy an NFT. And there's a lot of utility behind that too. We can speak about here in just a minute. Next is going to be future entry into MB land, which I will explain here shortly. I'm really excited to explain what that's going to look like. And it's going to get access to a unique token reward pool. So that might feel like 3 big things for a small investment, but that's the beauty in it, right? It's a high perceived value, and it's going to drive actual value. We have not created that reward pool yet. We're still talking through what that's going to look like. It's not going to be the level, its own node per se. It will likely be contributions from the treasury, but we're not 100% sure on that just yet. So we will fill you in as things develop. Moving on is our flame series. Obviously, we're starting with a spark, building a flame, and then we get to the blaze, which are the level 3s. The second is the flame series, which are uncommon. It's a next level up. These are essentially all built on MB. Also, we use these for giveaways, but they're all customizable. So I've taken custom orders for these. That was one I did for David. Obviously, we did a Christmas theme. We did some Halloween ones, and they're all variants of MB that I draw, and they're really fun. So we've done some really unique collections, again, for some giveaways. And I think our utility when we had the token was great. It allowed people to just earn more Ember, that they get contributed to in that reward pool. But it also would create sell pressure, which fortunately, those that hold those weren't looking to profit on them at this moment, and it wasn't enough. Again, same thing. I wanted more for our investors. So we determined it was going to be a better option for us to contribute up to 5% of our profits from that new treasury that we're building off of the node. Okay. So we're going to explore that, see what that looks like. It will likely be in multiple cryptocurrencies, which David, you can maybe speak to as well. It may not just be BST token or just BNB. We can look and see what that looks like down the road, but that will likely be a quarterly distribution. If you got an itchy trigger finger or something and that's not enough, then we can look at it potentially bi-monthly or a monthly. But right now it's likely going to be quarterly, subject to change. Prices range from 0.5 BNB to 0.9. They're fun characters. They're fun to look at. I love the character. It's driven a lot of utility, as you know, for us. The transition series, which is what we've developed for this particular transition, obviously into Blockstar. So they were created for current holders. It's going to allow you to convert your token into an NFT, and so it's going to grant a share into that BST staking pool with up to a 50% APY. You'll be able to choose your payout frequency 3, 6, or 12 months. So you're not. If you hold it for the first 12 months, you will earn the larger percentage. Obviously, right? You'll get the 15%. But you'll be able to have a 3 and 6 month option as well. There will be 150 shares, and they're based on at varying amounts. They're based on volume, and how many are available in volume of tokens. So this being, the legendary, as he said, at 50 million tokens, and then it goes down and stair steps down from there. I didn't put a ton into this because this really is temporary. I wasn't going to pour a whole bunch of time into the design of these. I just wanted some kind of brighter versions of the Ember logo. So those are the NFTs you'll be investing in as part of that BST staking reward pool, should you choose that route. Lastly is not that page. No, hold on. Lastly is go back. Oh, my computer decided to take its time. Okay, page 8. Come on, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna put that at full screen. So lastly is the Blaze series. Okay, I can't zoom because it tries to jump to the next page. The Blaze series are epic ones. These are all hand drawn. They are one-of-a-kind pieces of art by yours truly. There's various finishes, textures, themes, styles, and this gives you access to that node-driven reward pool that will be paid monthly on the 15th. Subject to change, but not likely. That's the standard node payout schedule for the Blockstar NFTs, or Blockstar nodes, excuse me. There will only be 150 of these produced. Each one of them grants you a 1/150th share of that reward pool. Okay, the prices did start at 1 BNB. They have gone up in value as we've had more demand, and they will increase based on availability. I'm not going to publicly state that I'm going to launch these in sections of 5, but that's likely a strategy I'm going to do. So there, it builds a little bit of a good feeding frenzy that 5 are going to be available, first come, first serve, and there will never be that price again. Perpetuity is the name of the game here, so I can't stress that enough. We're still going to be taking custom design requests, so even if you don't see any available, you can go through our website. I believe it's embertoken.io/NFT. That will be changing, and I'll explain that in a minute, that URL. But you can go there and submit custom requests. Many of you have come to me with your creative ideas and been a part of that design process, and it's been a ton of fun to be able to work with you one-on-one, which most projects don't bring. I thought that was a unique thing that we bring to the table to allow the holder, the investor, to be a little bit in the driver's seat and provide some inspiration to me and let me do my creative magic. So that is all about the NFTs. You will see this in the white paper. You can read through it at your leisure. Almost done here. Page 9 is Embiverse. This is coming soon. Embiverse is going to be an online Web3 experience. There will be games. We're going to be building out Web3 games for Embi. There will be fun puzzles and things that your kids can do that you can do with your children. There will be virtual and downloads that you'll be able, everything from coloring sheets, that we're going to draw, to activity books that virtual activity books that you can do that combine a bunch of puzzles and games, wallpapers, graphics, funny things, like anything that you can trust that your child can put on their tablet, or if they're old enough, on their phone as a wallpaper or as a graphic, and never have to fear that it's something inappropriate, right? So there's enough of that floating around the internet. We want something that's kid friendly. NFTs that will link you to the Blockstar site, where you can go and browse Embi available NFTs. Embi Bank, kind of teetering on if that's what we're going to call it, but that essentially would be the Embi wallet. Would they be able to connect? Just thought it was kind of rolled off the tongue nicely like a piggy bank. And then lastly will be Embi Land. So I'm going to explain that real quick. As David mentioned earlier, there is an entire AR, augmented reality, and VR experience in Blockstar World. And a lot of our team internally has seen it, and it's remarkable. It's not even like, oh, that's cool, that might be fun. It's remarkable because there's so much utility. There's revenue generating opportunities for Blockstar through it. There's in-app purchase opportunities. We can go and have meetings in there as a business and actually build an avatar and function inside of this. What David's offered to do is work with me and the team one-on-one to build out Embi Land. If any of you are familiar with Disney World or Disneyland, you can put your 2 and 2 together and use your imagination. Embi Land will be a Embi's theme park inside of Blockstar World. It's going to take some time to develop that, but that is something we're super pumped to do because it'll allow kids to put that Oculus headset or whatever it is that they have and go in and really interact in that space. So it'll be a learning experience for me, even as a creative, to build out something in the 3D realm and the virtual realm like that. So I'm super pumped to work with the team, the broader team as well, and get them engaged to make that come to life. Again, all heavily on David's generosity and time commitment to build that out. So this is just a mock-up of what the website's going to look like. Be a little bit more detail, some fun stuff moving around. We're going to make it really interactive for all of you, and make sure that you and your kids, or if you have a neighbor or a friend or family member that's like, ew, crypto, yuck, it's sketchy. Show them this. Show them us, right? Show them that we're really trying to make good waves, positive waves in this space, and get them invested early. Because I assure you, if you look at this chart right here, that price that I'm looking at, 0.05945, was not that price yesterday. It was not that price the day before, or the day before, or the week, or the month before. And it's going to keep growing because David does not rely, Blockstar does not rely on that chart for growth. As he said, a lot of revenue streams. This will keep growing, guys. And so we hope to continue, and we plan obviously to continue our alignment with that, especially as it pertains to investor growth and making sure that everything you're investing in really has long-term purpose and value. So thankful for David for being willing to contribute time to our team to build a lot of this out. It'll be a fun learning experience for us on the Web3 side, because that's really, a whole new, the future of web. He can speak to that in a minute. But it's going to be a ton of fun. That's all I can share. Going on to our plush, you see little Emby sitting next to me. It's the first ticket to DeFi. It started as a mascot, as I've shown you. It's evolved into a one-of-a-kind Plushmallow toy. And they are available on our website at swag.emberagency.io. You can go and purchase Emby. It's only $20, and you actually have an option currently to buy Ember, which we need to make sure we turn off, and we'll be sure to do that today. But you'll eventually be able to buy other crypto and or NFTs when you purchase this. So it's a really easy on-ramp for people to get into DeFi. They don't have to go through a centralized exchange or even the forthcoming Hex that David's bringing to market. It's just a quick way that we can put that buy-in, or rather send that NFT and put that BNB in, into the wallet and send them that NFT when they buy it online. I'm sure there's even probably more automated ways that David and his magic brain could allow us to do. What's going to happen when people order Emby and we start delivering these things? Okay, these shipping will start in the probably mid-month of February. We're expecting, I'd say mid to late month, just to be safe. We are expecting our first order. I think there's about 500 of them coming. So we've invested a lot of money into these, and we will be putting these out next month. What will come with that is a full activity book. It's going to have crossword puzzles and coloring pages and things like that. It's not going to be very big, about a 6x9 size, but something that you and your kid can do together. Be super fun. So excited about what Emby is going to bring into the crypto universe. And we will continue to build this utility out to build more mascots, whether it's for Blockstar, whether it's for other projects that we work with, other non-DeFi businesses. Now that we know the process behind this and we've been through it, we see the value in it. It'll allow us to do that for others and bring their ideas to life. Lastly, it's just our contact information in the white paper. You can get on our socials, find us, so on and so forth. I'll put our email addresses in there as well, and our websites. Still working on this. I've flown through it this week, so a couple more updates to make. But if you guys have questions, we'll get to those. David, if you want to speak to any of the utility aspects of what this is, and even what buying Emby on our website could look like in the coming weeks, I would say for immersing them into options that will help them onboard into crypto or DeFi without having to go through the traditional exchange process. What does that look like from a utility standpoint, and why is that going to be desirable by them? I'd love to be able to kind of hype on that a little bit.
Yeah, so that offers tons of ways, because normally you have to go set up an account with Exchange, KYC, to be able to on-ramp, off-ramp, and everything. These to be available on their website and everything. You'll be able to come in and purchase. But the whole reason behind Emby, besides just being a cute, lovable plush toy, right, is to give it utility. And what JR and Matt and those guys have been able to do over there, and ladies, sorry for all those lady mods over there, but is to give a way to educate, right? And I can tell you, just from the utility stand, from the Blockstar side of things, these guys are really the ones that are going to be educating our young kids, young adults, and even parents coming into crypto, but also into the DeFi space, and teaching the future investors of the Blockstar exchange, right? And being able to introduce things that people are familiar with, which is one of the reasons why we built the social media platform, is to introduce things that people are familiar with, they already know how to use. But this is a great utility for Emby to be able to do that. And one of the things that we want to really capitalize on, are really put the focus into people and kids growing up, is to have diversified portfolios as well, because this is a great conduit to do that. Again, introducing something that they're already familiar with, and then give the ability to have a very diverse portfolio. Could you imagine if somebody would have taken and invested in something like this, when you guys were kids and everything? Where would you be at today because of it? But again, this is a great learning tool for parents as well, and be able to do with their kids. It's something fun for the kids. Just to speak for the Embyverse itself, I've had several ideas that I've ran past JR and all that stuff. I mean, we're talking about all the things from doing AR, VR, riding roller coasters, having, different amusement park rides and everything. I don't want to go too heavily in that because I really want it to be a surprise for a lot of you guys that are looking forward to that. But it's something fun. You guys are already letting your kids do stuff already and on your phones, and in AR, VR, you'll be able to do this in 2D, 3D, AR, and VR. So through the Blockstar world. So don't worry if you don't have a headset, you don't have to have one. You'll still be able to do all this stuff just like you do now on computer and mobile as well, but it will be a more immersive experience. And there's several ways that are going to be able to monetize this as well, which offers more utility back into the Ember agency, which allows them to continue to develop and to bring this into life. But there's so many things, again, with the ability to be able to purchase these and have something cool for your kids that they're going to love and want to play with for a long time to come. And there's even young adults out there, even old adults out there. My wife actually ordered a few of these, right, just to have on the shelf and everything, because it's a very cool concept. So if you guys are really new to crypto in general, much less the DeFi space, and you're really looking for the education side, even though this is geared towards kids, this is also geared towards adults as well. From the learning aspect, there's going to be a complete knowledge base on how to set up wallets, how to trade in DeFi, how to use the Blockstar exchange and other exchanges of various types out there as well, and different chains. So this isn't just driven towards the Blockstar ecosystem. This is really driven towards the space. And you guys have heard me say this a million times. We want to become the standard in the space, not the exception. And that's where, Ember and Blockstar really align, because we're both working towards the same vision and same goal, is to get more people and mainstream adoption into crypto and make it a very unified way for them to come in and feel safe and not have to worry about all the exploits, all the scammers, and give other people the ability. That's why both of our ecosystems are completely decentralized from that aspect, right? Everybody knows what happened to some of the exchanges out there this past year and everything, and what it did to our market and to the conditions. We don't want people to fall victim to that. So we support the decentralized side of things, and that's really where we want to focus. But we want to introduce a way for people to come in and learn all the different aspects about crypto and the decentralized side of things, and be able to trade safely, introduce a space for your kids to come in and learn about crypto safely as well. So is there anything else you want me to hit on, JR? I think I covered a lot of that. I want to keep some of it as a sneak peek. Just so I want you guys to be excited. That's why we have to hold back so many things. It's not that we don't want to reveal things, because there are times that we get so excited, it's like I got to tell everybody, and we really have to take a step back and really hold on to things sometimes until they're ready to come out, because just as much as we're excited, we know that you guys are going to be excited about this too. And going forward, it's been a great working relationship between JR, Matt, myself, and all the other people, from the advisors all the way down to the mods. And there's a lot of great things coming in the very near future, this year into next. And none of us are going anywhere. We're here for the long term. Obviously, you guys know that I've been here forever. The goat of crypto, as some would like to call me. But we're here, right? We're going to continue to build, especially in the market conditions they are. We're starting to get some rallies now that you guys have noticed, but we're here for the long term. We're going to be here next year, the year after that, and we're going to continue to build and introduce great utilities and projects into the crypto space. So we're looking forward to having all you guys take that journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, David. And the last thing I want to say, some of you may be curious that found us in Telegram or thrive in Telegram. It's obviously a super fun group that we really take a lot of joy in. We have a whole ecosystem with Blockstar World as well, but Telegram is still going to be a communication platform, a primary one for us. Ember token group will end up converting to the Ember project. I mentioned earlier about what the website's going to look like. We have purchased a domain, emberproject.io. Our agency website will still exist. We will forward embertoken.io for any existing links out there to the Ember project, or emberproject.io. There's no the, just emberproject.io. Thought it was a good kind of creative name. It's ambiguous enough to allow us to continue to expand without it being, finance or token or investments or something like that. So some of our URLs in marketing will change. We are going to continue to pump Telegram. The difference is instead of everybody like, hey guys, how's the market looking? Hey, when green candles again, when growth, it's going to be us informing you guys on the regular instead of you checking in. We are very active in there. Obviously, it's a super fun community. So if you're not in Telegram, quit making excuses. Honestly, I don't mean to be rude, but don't make excuses as to why. Oh, it's another app. get in there. Like we have built an absolute awesome rock star of a family, a block star of a family, right? But all jokes aside, it is something that we are going to continue to grow because we will be talking about our agency work. Which might introduce opportunities for some of you that may want to build a project in this space, want to build a brand, want to build a website, in or outside of DeFi. We want to keep, kind of pushing our value out there as consultants and as creatives and developers. And project managers and so on and so forth in and out of the space. You'll be getting news and updates on things we're doing outside of DeFi, working with other businesses, introducing them into it, potentially building other NFT collections for brick and mortar companies, so on and so forth. As we're going to still pursue that, like we talked about, we're still pursuing motorsports. That's obviously, we got to update Trevor on everything that's going on. I haven't a chance to catch up with him, but there is going to be a path ahead for that will likely tie into an NFT collection. It's the only teaser I'm going to give you. But there's a lot of cool stuff still coming down. That's more of a Q3, Q4 part of this year. Still something we're really, really passionate about, but that really gets into the experience NFTs. I did not put those on the white paper because they are still in development. The experience NFTs, for any of you that have listened in the past, are really heavily focused on bridging DeFi with the real world, actually physically doing things based on having a ticket or an NFT as a ticket to that. So still something we're going after. We just had to put a little bit of a pause on that to go through and prep for this transition. So Telegram will still live on, our community will still live on. You'll be getting updates on Embiverse. It'll be a great resource for support. If you guys have questions, things on the website, so on and so forth. So we want to continue to build that family in there. That's not going away. It's only going to grow. And the content will be less about, how's the token doing? What's the token? Token. Oh, cool. Nice graphics. What about when you remove remove that element in a healthy way, it creates a much stronger dichotomy for people to be able to ask questions and pose propose ideas and just dig into the real utility behind Ember, which is our creativity, which is our development, which is our consulting and product development. We're really, really, really excited about Embiverse. We're really excited about all things associated with it, including the plush toys and building out more of those for people. Obviously, the NFTs, being able to pay you guys in perpetuity is for life, is so special to me. I could never have thought of something like that on my own, or Matt on his own, to think, what is a way that I can take a piece of art. I've been doing art my whole life in design since I was a kid. And to know that something that I create can sit in somebody's virtual wallet and pay them for life is just freaking incredible to me. Like, it's just the whole concept. That's the power of DeFi and utility. So I hope this has been informational for you guys. Some of you may be thinking, oh, Ember token's going away. This is not us folding our cards. This is a pivot. This is the next evolution into a better investment strategy for you guys. We put your needs first, way before ours, because it's not easy to grow, and then pivot that quickly, this aggressively, without obviously beating your head against the wall a little bit. But fortunately, we don't have to do that. Everything's been very smooth, and I'm just really happy we've been able to tell you guys about it today. So with that said, Matt, anything you want to bring up, or any of our mods you want to bring up and ask questions on, or anybody from the community that's listening in, totally here to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Nothing else for me, man. Just excited to be here. And I think you and David told about everything there was to say. So I honestly don't have anything else to add to any of that. Great job, guys.
No, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Thanks for your leadership very much. Hey, Kelly, what's up?
Hey, for anybody out there, I just want you guys to know that this is a really great opportunity for all of us, every single investor in Ember. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask, because I know that John and Matt and David will answer every single question.
Mm-hmm.
But I know personally, as an investor, I am incredibly excited about this transition into Blockstar. So that's what I have to say.
That's awesome,
Thank you,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
On that note, just real quick, John, I just wanted to respond to one of the things Kelly touched on. Just so you guys know and everything, it's not just an opportunity for right here, right now, and then tomorrow it's gone, right? I mean, this is a evolution of things. Again, Blockstar's been being built out for 4 years now. You guys have seen what Ember's been able to do and everything. Think of what we've done on our own, in our own rights for each of these projects and everything. Imagine what we're able to do together is one big community, everybody with that one vision and everything, and still having the NFT side of things with JR and his crew over there doing, being able to really put a drive and a focus into the NFT side, not having this time split between trying to manage a token, working over at Blockstar, and trying to do NFTs. This is a streamlined vision. And again, look at what we've done separately and imagine what we can get done in the future together.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to grow opportunity for a lot more people than even meets the eye right now, to manage and scale, an ecosystem. David, as he said, we're going to be looking for people. I've got to build out a department over time. I can't be drawing for the rest of my life. I love it, and that time has value. Don't get me wrong, but I do have fiduciary responsibilities that I need to tend to, and both for Ember and Blockstar, and to serve all of you guys. And so, I want to be in a position where I'm back in that creative director role over time. But I will never ever hesitate to get my fingernails dirty. So all I mean by all this is that it's gonna allow opportunities that probably aren't even considered yet, and it's going to take all of you determining what's in your best interest as well, to see where you go. We obviously want y'all to believe in everything we've been presenting. We have every reason to. David's proven that. I hope you guys see the value in the NFTs, and just excited to kind of see where you guys end up falling in on things. If you want, now it's personal, but if you want to know kind of even what I'm doing, being in my position, I will be doing likely an 80-20, 90-10 split. I will be primarily putting most of my tokens into BST, but I do want to get into that level 2 reward pool. It's diversification, and it allows me, it's really more for sentimental value, I'd say, more than anything. Even if I got a common one, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter to me. It's just it's for sentimental value, and there is long-term benefit for that as well. Because if you've seen what David's been building, what the Blockstar team's been building in 4 years, and just starting to release in the last year and a half, 2 years, imagine what the next 3 to 5 are going to look like. It's going to be pretty incredible. So yeah, go ahead, sir.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I was going to ask you if you were able to split, or if it was all for one, if you could split it into 2.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then when do you have to let you guys know? Will there be something, or do you just go ahead and
Nope.
What's that process going to be like?
Yep, that site will be going live on Monday. We'll put out a time and the link, and you guys will be able to go and do that on your own time. You will have 1 week to get that done, and then after that 1 week, it will be shut off, and we will calculate those pools. And then after that week and everything, then there will be another link for you guys to go to. It'll probably end up being the same link, but you'll go and you'll claim, if you are staying in the project, you'll be claiming your BST. You will get bulk transferred out all the NFTs that you got. And if you are one of the few people that I can foresee exiting the project, then you will be able to claim your BNB. And we're trying to make it as streamlined, as simple, easy, as automated as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question,
awesome.
Sarah.
I'm
Glad
excited.
you brought that up. Yeah, we want flexibility. I mean, at the end of the day, I think when projects get into a position like this, where it's like, oh, we got to deliver this kind of like shaky news. Like, this isn't shaky. This is exciting. Like, I've been so geeked out, and like I could hardly even eat my lunch today. I went out with my mom and Jessica, who work for me in my other, work with me in my other company as well. And we went out to lunch today. And I could hardly even eat, just out of just like, I was just ready. I've been bottling up a lot of this for a while, and I haven't slept much in the last few days. And I was just really, really excited. This is a good thing. So if you guys have questions, fears, concerns, obviously we want to address those. We're here to ask questions now live. I ask you, don't blow everybody's DMs up, especially David or myself or Matt. We're all very busy, but we obviously want to give you the attention you deserve as well. So feel free to post that in our Telegram if you have questions. And a lot of this will start to roll out again. The level 3, the Epic series, the Blaze series, level 3 NFTs that we have, will end up going into its own Telegram group. that is very private and obviously invite only. And so as you become a holder of that, you get a say so in where I can take things creatively, or where we as Ember can kind of maneuver. And so definitely look forward to building that micro community out as well. So but yeah, all we want is flexibility for you guys. If you feel like you've had a fun ride and you're willing to take cut and run, go for it. Definitely not what we're going to recommend. And I hope after today, you guys, feel the same. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for the sake of editing, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but we're going to continue to let you guys talk and if you guys do have those questions and everything, I'm going to stick around for a while. I do need about 2 minutes. I'm going to step away for a minute, and then I'll come back, and I am happy to set with JR. I'm sure he's willing as well, and Matt, and some of the other mod and stuff as well. Any question you guys have, again, like JR said, I'm just reiterating that. If you guys have questions, concerns, or even questions about Blockstar or any of the NFTs, we're going to stick around for a little while today and make sure that all those are answered. And thank you guys that are going to be moving over to Blockstar and into the NFTs and everything. Again, we appreciate you guys and glad to be taking this journey with you guys. And thanks for supporting, Blockstar for one, and my vision and what we're doing over there, but also for supporting Ember and this transition, and continue to support the NFT side of the Ember agency as well. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks so much, David. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm here for it. Matt's here for it. David.